Hey, welcome to X-Oriente, the new voice of Brotherhood. This is our second attempt at our first live stream to YouTube. I am half of your host, Eric Diamond.
I'm the other half, Jason Van Dyke, and I'm just damn glad to be here.
I am damn glad to be here. So we're moving over to YouTube. Like I said, a couple of reasons for that. One is just I think it's a little bit more universal. It's a little bit more easy to access. It's on more platforms than Facebook. I kind of want to go where the platforms are. So we're going to give this a try and see how it works out. What we'll do is we'll continue to post event notices in the Facebook page to let you know when and where and what topics there are. Hopefully this stream will hold. The other thing too to keep in mind is that the studio is in a little bit of a transition. So I upgraded the Mac. We're no longer using a 2011 era iMac. We're now on a swanky new MacBook Pro. Which means that now I'm kind of having to glance sort of slightly downward instead of, the camera was at a nice sort of eye line height. So there'll be some shadows and some, terrible lighting and stuff like that, until the new monitor comes, which should be next week. And unfortunately I will be in New York most of next week. So,
Fun.
We'll get it squared away by the next show. So, anything going on in masonry this week that we should know about?
Nope.
Cool. Then let's just jump. Yeah. Well, let's just jump right in. So the title of the show is Breaking Out of the Man Box, and this is the way that this topic kind of came about was because I was reading a really interesting article. It's kind of, it kind of goes back to, we did a show, I think it was like 4 or 5 episodes ago about toxic masculinity. Specifically, the Gillette company had put together a video for the Super Bowl. It was a Super Bowl, right? Yeah, it was a Super Bowl ad.
Yeah, it was Super Bowl ad.
Yeah, on sort of toxic masculinity and not being a bully or engaging in sexist behavior and stuff like that. And we talked about it at the time, but I kind of felt like with the recent discussions that we've been having here on X-Oriente about being socially relevant, this idea of toxic masculinity didn't kind of go away. And so I found that there was a report. So there's this company called Stylus, and they're kind of like a trend watching, kind of company. And so they report on a lot of trends, mostly from marketers. And so I read their reports from time to time, and they had a report on something called enlightened masculinity. And it was real interesting, especially, given that we're going to that we're trying to attract younger members into the fraternity.
Right.
I just started reading a book, which we'll probably do a book review show on, about sort of the millennial, millennial Masons and how they're poised to sort of save Freemasonry as we know it. And I'm not sure I agree with everything in his book, in the book, which again we'll talk about another time. But that was super interesting to me. And one of the things that I'm focusing on, kind of in my professional life, is not just in the millennials, right? And we've done some gender shows, but and this is going to also be we're adding to the show docket is Gen Z. So. Most people aren't aware that Gen Z are, just this year are starting to come into the age where they can become Masons in most jurisdictions. And man, if you thought millennials were different, buckle up, because Gen Z is much, much different.
Yeah. And I think what's really interesting is that now they've run out of lazy ways to categorize generations, unless we're going to go to Gen AA.
No, actually, that generation is called Gen Alpha. So we're going Greek now.
Oh God.
I know. You're terribly disappointed.
You're just the worst.
You're terribly disappointed.
So lazy. Disgusting. Yeah. So anyhow, so Gen Z are very different than Gen X or Gen Y. And I find that I actually find that really, really interesting. Because I think the generational interplay is really interesting anyway. But especially because the millennial generation is it's so different, really, from the boomers and from Gen X. I think it's really interesting that Gen Z has turned out to be just as different as well. I just think it's interesting. I think they're not as they've taken further
Hey,
some
Jace.
of the things like yeah. Did you lose me?
Hang on one sec. I'm getting some weird interference.
Okay.
I'm not sure where it's coming from. It might be coming from the hub that I'm using.
Okay.
So let me think about this for a second.
All right.
Well, hopefully, I don't know.
I don't hear anything.
Anyhow, so
Yeah, sorry.
just repeat what you said because I didn't catch it.
I was just remarking about how I'm interested in the interplay of generations.
Now I lost your audio.
Of course. Of course.
Oh, you can't win. You can't win for trying. You're kind of coming in and out. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go back off.
Okay.
We're gonna yeah, I know. Norbert is reporting that he's not getting audio either.
Awesome.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go out. We're gonna check all of our connections. We'll be back probably in about 5 minutes, and hopefully that'll fix the problems. Sorry, guys.